Guys, here's all the treatments for hair loss. There's not much here. You would think in 2023 we would have much more than this. It is moving forward in the right direction. There is a lot of new things coming out, but here it is. First things first, transplant. I'm sure everyone's heard of a transplant. Now, as far as hair loss goes, transplant is the only way that you're going to get hair back on top of your head. That's it. It's the only way. And the way that they do that is they take it from the back of their head to the front of the head. They have two ways of doing this. They have a scar that looks like a smiley face that they cut from ear to ear, or they go along and they pick out hairs sparingly throughout the back of your head from ear to ear. So those are the two different types of scarring that you're going to have post-operation. So they take those hairs from the back of your head and put them on the top of your head. Now, those hairs that after the transplant that land, they will never die because the hairs at the back of your head don't have DHT receptors. The hairs at the front of your head do. So the pros of a transplant is that it's actual hair and it's on your head. The cons of a transplant is the scarring at the back of your head, because you do need to have hair to cover that up. You can't quite go short where the scarring is because it does stand out. And then the other cons of a transplant is that your hair keeps on falling out. So your natural hair does. The transplant hair doesn't fall out, your natural hair does. So my advice to anyone who's going to get a transplant is make sure that you're doing your hair loss protocols and keeping your hair at the stage of hair loss that you have right now. So you're not continuing to lose hair. If you can maintain what you've got consistently, get a transplant. If you can't, it keeps falling out, look at your health protocols, look at what's going on. And it might be genetic and you can do nothing about it, but you at least have to try. The main thing that I see coming through my doors is not a poor transplant, it's a client with unrealistic expectations. The reality with a transplant is you need a lot of hair to make it successful. So, transplant pros, it's real hair. Cons, your natural hair falls out and the scarring. Now, SMP. SMP is a cosmetic style tattoo that looks like stubble. So it's tattooed stubble on your head. Now, the cons of this is it's not real hair. The cons of this is that it's never going to grow. And the other con of this is that one day you will have to get it touched up and redone because it does fade out over time. It's not going to stay looking like hair forever. What happens is unlike a tattoo that settles into your skin, SMP settles out of your skin. So over time, it's going to get lighter and lighter, and then you will need to get it touched up. Now, the other con of SMP is that if you ever don't want the SMP anymore, you will have to get it laser removed. I'm going to add one more con to transplant, is that it is not reversible. You can't reverse your transplant hairs back from the top of your head to the back. Now, the pros of SMP is that it's a non-invasive surgery. There's not much pain. It's not as expensive as other treatments, and you're 100% guaranteed results. You're not waiting around to see if the hair grows or anything like that. With SMP, you get it done, you have the hairline, and then that's it. Now, SMP can work with longer hair, making it look a little bit thicker by doing the SMP on the scalp, or completely shaving your head and you get like a 5 o'clock shadow stubble of a hairline. So that's SMP. Now, wigs. The pros to a wig is that you get a full head of hair straight away. So you get whatever hairstyle you want instantly. And honestly, wigs are looking better and better as time goes on. The cons with a wig is that it's a wig. The cons is that you do have to get it remolded, reset at least once a month because you want to keep it fresh. That you have to wash them, you have to clean them. You're gonna have the uncomfortable time that you take the wig off and you're back to looking like bald again. And it can also not be healthy for your scalp to have the wig on all the time. But once again, I think the pros and cons of a wig are quite self-explanatory. Like if you sweat too much, it's gonna start to smell. It's going to need to get washed more frequently. But once again, keeping a full head of hair with a wig, that's the fastest way that it's instantly going to happen. But I think, once again, the cons of a wig are quite self-explanatory. Now, PRP. PRP is taking, from what I understand, is taking blood out of your body and they shake it up and basically trying to extract a molecule from your blood that is going to be helpful and healthy for the hair, and then they inject it into the top of your head. Now, the pros of this is there is people who have had it done who recommend it, but the cons of this is there's not much study behind it and it is very expensive. Now, I've had clients that have had this done and they get good results. They like the results, they're happy with the results. Do they get a bunch of hair back? No. Does their hair look thicker? Yes. But for the price that they're paying, I really don't recommend PRP. And this is no offense to anyone who does PRP, but there isn't quite enough research behind it. RLT. So this is red light therapy. Now, red light therapy is something that you can do yourself. You can go online and you can get one of these red light hats that you sit on your head once to twice a week, and it stimulates the hair growth. Now, pros to this is that there is actually some good studies to show that it's healthy for the hair. Cons, it's not going to grow back any hair. It is healthy for the follicle itself. But the other con is that there is so many red light therapy hats out in the marketplace that someone's gonna fucking try and rip you off. So what I recommend with the red light therapy is to get a cheaper hat and to shop around, because they range from $100 to $5,000. And at the end of the day, it's just red light on your hair. So all of these products are going to be pretty well the same. If anyone has any more information about this, please send it to me. But from what I've found is that they are all relatively the same. So the cons to this is that you get conned into spending $5,000 on a hat with red lights. And hair fibers. Now, hair fibers might sound fantastic, but what it is, it's basically like a little salt shaker that you put on your head, makes your hair look more dense. Now, the pros of this is that it's very cheap, very easy to get a hold of, and very easy to use. The cons of this is that you can't sweat. If you have a shower, obviously it's going to melt all over your face. I've had clients say that it gets on their pillows, stains their sink, and also doesn't give you any new hairs. But if you have an event that you need to go to, getting some fibers and chucking them on your head, your hairline's gonna look thicker for that event, but it's not a long-term thing. All right, those are our treatments that we have. It's not much, but that's what is currently in the marketplace.